You're listening to Awards Magnet, a Gold Derby podcast hosted by Joyce and Christopher Rosen. Welcome to Awards Magnet, Joyce.
This is our hard launch.
I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce. If you're listening to this, you're listening to the first ever episode of Awards Magnet, a Gold Derby podcast hosted by us, Joyce.
Same show, new number. What is it?
Yes, it looks great. Loving the way this looks. We're so excited. We have a logo. You could see it there if you're watching it on YouTube.
I hope you're pointing in the right place.
Well, it's over.
We'll add
I
it
am.
in post.
And if you're listening and you're like, what the hell? Just look at the app, whatever you're looking at. We have this great logo. I'm so excited, Joyce. This is so much fun. And we're launching here with our Golden Globes predictions. What better way to launch?
I mean, real ones have been anticipating this since, if you listen to the podcast version, this has been teased for like a month.
We've been running a promo. I was just read a nice promo, 90-second. Can't wait. And now we're here. So this is Awards Magnet. We're so excited you're listening and watching. If you want to reach out, comment about this or anything else, slugfest@goldderby.com is our email address. We do a mailbag episode every Friday, Joyce.
People don't like change. What do you anticipate the reactions?
Oh, it's going to be great. Not one complaint. Everyone's going to say, hey, it's wonderful. Great job. Nothing. It sounds great. It looks great. People are going to be very positive, Joyce. If I know anything about the internet, it's that people are going to be so thrilled.
They're always positive. It's like Blue Sky.
What is Blue Sky?
They're very positive over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. I'll Google it. Joyce, we're going to do TV Golden Globe predictions first, and then movie predictions after that.
I have to do these live.
You love doing it live, Joyce.
I do.
What better way to do it?
You're just in the moment, and then you have to make a split-second decision right there.
So the
but
Golden
sometimes
Globes,
they take more than 1 second to do this, though.
So the Golden Globes will be announced. Nominations will be announced Monday morning on CBS, and you can stream it online. I'm very excited. Joyce will be on after the Golden Globe nominations to talk about this.
Yes, it's 5 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Eastern, Monday.
Can't wait. Glad we're on the East Coast.
Yes, we have a normal time. It doesn't even when the Emmys, when they're the only nice ones, when they do it at 11 a.m. Eastern, I'm like, that's kind of late for me.
Yeah, it is. Our SAG even at 10. We're going to go through this. We talked about this. We did our initial picks for TV at Golden Globes and SAG a few weeks ago. And I was torn because I was like, how much will be new stuff versus old stuff?
Yes.
And you were like, doesn't matter.
I just it's hard to tell with this year and also with their new membership. So
briefly explain the new membership, Joyce, for those noobs.
It's not that new. It's like they've been there for a year, basically. Yes. They just added 300 members. So because the HFVA has been disbanded, obviously, and it was 80 to 90 members. So some of them are still there, but they added 300 members last year. So now it's 300 plus people. So last year was the first year with those people. And then I don't think the nominees, and I mean, we saw some of their nominees were interesting, but I think the winners were kind of less surprising, but also they were just such obvious winners on both the film and TV side that I don't know if you can glean much from it. So I feel like this year would be more interesting.
I also think that if you were, the one thing I noticed was last year, we talked about this, the old idea of what the Hollywood Foreign Press was very star forward. So if it was famous people doing stuff, they were going to get nominated. And this group maybe a little more highbrow, slightly.
Yeah, they're actual critics from all over the world. And there's more of them now. So it's just a math thing. So back then when you just had 80 people, easier to bribe, easier to get a majority of people to like one thing. And then that is going to be nominated or is the winner, But now it's 300 people.
Infamously, something like The Tourist.
Or, Tom Ford sending perfume for
Correct.
nocturnal animals.
So not as much glad handing or swag, but we're still going to try to figure it out. So we'll start with TV, Joyce. We do comedy and drama. We're going to start with drama.
And there's also limited. How dare you?
I know. We'll get there. Okay. So drama series choice. Here's what I have. Shogun, Slow Horses, Presumed Innocent, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And then I went with 2 new shows, The Day of the Jackal and Black Doves.
So it's such an honor to be officially launching Awards Magnet on the same day as Black Doves launch, December 5th. Or as I call it, Slow Doves. Because it's like if The Diplomat and Slow Horses had a baby. Mm-hmm. It's so silly and so fun. So I'm right now live debating whether or not to add it. But, okay. So I have Shogun, Slow Horses, Presumed Innocent, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm going to do Fallout. And I had The Diplomat, but I don't know if I want to keep it. I'm going to do Day of the Jackal too, because it's 101.
Good picks. Top 6 in the odds, because these go to 6, was Shogun, Slow Horses, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Presumed Innocent. So we have those 4. 5th was Squid Game. 6th is House of the Dragon. Then it's Diplomat, Fallout, which you just selected. Industry, which is my fave. Pachinko, Day of the Jackal, and Black Doves, both popping up probably because I put them in. I just was not sold on Squid Game. I don't know. It feels like the season is coming without a lot of pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, I had it initially. I just dropped it, and I don't. It's coming so late, but like they have the screeners, like we have the screeners, you know.
Right.
So I don't know what to make of it. So I wouldn't be shocked if it got in. It's probably safer to predict it because I could see them just being kind of lazy. Because my feeling about them is that they all care about film and not TV. So I feel like a lot of them just don't even vote for TV.
And if that's the case, then Squid Game and House of the Dragon maybe make it in, or The Diplomat because it was so widely seen.
I don't even The Diplomat has been okay this season. I mean, it's like it has the visibility of Netflix, but I wouldn't say it hasn't like superseded its season 1 success. You know, it's kind of quiet.
That's actually why I had it in. Before I put in Day of the Jackal and Black Doves, when I refreshed these the other day, I had Diplomat and I had Industry in. But I'm not sure. Diplomat, like you said, not as much juice in the second season compared to the first. And Industry was more of a wing and a prayer because I wanted it to be nominated.
I'm shocked you didn't keep it.
Well, if it gets nominated, it'll be a pleasant surprise choice if it gets in. Fallout's good though. Big popular show that they've seen.
I just went with Fallout because I feel like it's older and it already... like there's like some familiarity with it already, especially if they're not checking out the new shows.
Yes.
You know? And then I did Day of the Jackal, which I've since finished. So it sets up season 2, since been renewed. It's allegedly Sky's like biggest launch or whatever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Whatever that means.
Yeah. And I think the only thing that might be a concern is that it's on Peacock, but I don't know if that's as big of an issue like here than it is like at the Emmys.
Right.
You know?
I don't think it matters here. That was my thinking too. For drama actor Joyce, going to be a lot of the same folks probably, but I've got Hiroyuki Sanada for Shogun, Gary Oldman for Slow Horses, Jake Gyllenhaal for Presumed Innocent, Walton Goggins for Fallout, Donald Glover for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then Eddie Redmayne for Day of the Jackal.
Wow. You're just copying me. Yeah, I dropped Lee Jung Jae for Eddie, so I have the same 6.
I don't know a lot of Golden Globes members, Joyce.
Oh, you don't?
But I heard a little birdie told me that they were really liking Eddie Redmayne and Day of the Jackal, so that's why I was like, I'm going to put it in.
I was telling you the other day, because I've finished the season. I think it ends next week. But I have never liked Eddie more in anything than this.
Even more than Good Nurse.
I mean, I don't even remember Good Nurse, so that might be your favorite.
I can't.
This performance is not. I know you haven't seen it, but like this performance is completely different from the Good Nurse. So
I have seen the memes of him as an old man filled with regret.
I mean, the makeup is really good on the show, so it needs Emmy nominations for that. But it's like he's just, he doesn't talk a lot. There's not a lot of dialogue from him, but he's just like a stone-faced killer assassin. And I feel like you might not like peg him for that role, but it really works. And I don't know if I would predict anyone else from the show, but I'll just put him in there. I feel like if it's like the HFPA, they would definitely nominate him. So I'm not so sure about them here, but
it's true. I'm going to stick with it though. I'm going down with the Eddie ship. For drama actress Joyce, we might have the same 6 then too. I don't know. I have Anna Sawai for Shogun, Kathy Bates for Matlock, Kerry Russell for The Diplomat, Sharon Horgan for Bad Sisters, Maya Erskine for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Keira Knightley for Black Doves.
I think a lot of people have the 6.
Emma Darcy's in 6, excuse me, but
I'm not going to change this. I think this feels wrong, but I'm just going to keep this. Like I had Keira in here before I even saw Slow Doves. And I mean, I think she's like totally solid in it, but it's like, I mean, honestly, the best performances in that show are Tracy Ullman, who's in the last 2 episodes, and just serving pure camp, and Sarah Lancashire, who pops up like for 2 minutes every episode and is like does like expo dump kind of speeches. But Keira and Ben Whishaw are good, and I don't know. It's a very fun show, and I hope every season is set at Christmas because it should be a Christmas show. But yeah, there's not a lot of options.
I would have gone, if I was going to go with somebody to be an upset pick, I would say Marissa Abella because of Industry. She was so great in this last season, and she had Back to Black, which I was like, again, I feel like international journalists maybe like that more than American audiences. So I don't know. I think she's got a little juice, could maybe get in here, but I didn't predict her. So,
I mean, you could do double Industry.
I would, but I think Mahala is a red herring because she's really not in the 3rd season as much. And like, she's a very strong character, obviously still, but like the 3rd season really does revolve around Yaz. So I kind of think she would make it in over her.
I'm just ignoring them. And then Ella Purnell is right above them in the odds, but I don't know.
I really want Industry to get in at the Emmys next year, but I think for it to do that, it would have to have a strong showing either at the Globes or at SAG, and that remains to be seen for me.
It needs, I don't think like the Globes are as important for that, but it needs a guild showing.
Yeah. And that's it. Now we're into comedy, Joyce. Musical comedy. So for comedy series, I have just the top 6. Hacks, The Bear, Only Murders, Abbott Elementary, Nobody Wants This, and Shrinking.
I have the same.
I'm surprised you didn't go with English Teacher, which is 7th.
I did have that, but I've dropped it. I love English Teacher. Funniest new show of the year. But I don't, it's like, it's very quiet, and I don't know if they'll go for it. Again, I feel like the HFPA would do it because they love new stuff. Regardless of how popular or watched it was. I mean, I would love it if it got in. I'll be very happy if it got in. So I'd rather just like keep it out and hope it gets in.
It's your industry, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and then I don't know, like Shrinking, I feel like just has an edge because it's an older show, even if similarly it's like there's not a lot of chatter about season 2, it's like it has its fans, but it's not like blowing up or anything, and then I did Nobody Wants This just because of like the visibility, and it was actually a huge hit.
And both Shrinking and Nobody Wants This are being hammered in a good way in terms of like campaigning. I feel like they're really, really pushing these shows.
Yes.
So I have them both in as well. Shrinking, I think, is very good the second season, but Nobody Wants This obviously was a phenomenon, so it feels like it would make it in here. And I actually think it might get in at SAG too, which we'll do obviously in another time. But we'll see. I have Hacks winning. I feel like after the Emmys, Hacks will win this.
Hacks has won before already, so they were ahead of the curve of Emmys. How do you feel about Agatha All Along, which is going comedy and is an 8th here, which is actually a huge hit.
Huge hit that I don't feel really good about, certainly, but I don't know. I guess it could get in. I have it showing up later on. I would say.
You do Catherine and Patty.
I did Catherine. But I don't think I think if any of the other shows were going to make it in, it would be English Teacher. Like I do think that, but I don't know. For actor Joyce in a musical comedy, I have Jeremy Allen White for The Bear, Brian Jordan Alvarez for English Teacher, Steve Martin and Martin Short for Only Murders, Adam Brody for Nobody Wants This, and Jason Segel for Shrinking.
Are you copying me again?
Are you copying me? I did these first.
Me. I know, but I just did this before you finished reading. I mean, the only thing I changed was dropping Vince Vaughn for Adam. That's all.
I had Vince Vaughn recently until I dropped him for Adam also.
I did think about right now doing Ted Danson instead. Carol Burnett Award recipient Ted Danson, who's also great on A Man on the Inside. But again, I feel like that's also something the HFPA would do too. It's like, we nominate you, you won't win the main category, but you know you're getting this other award here anyway.
I thought that too, so that's why I didn't put him in. Adam Brody, I think will get in. People love him, and they love him on the show. I think he's like considered maybe the best part of the show.
Yeah, and then I feel like also, again, if the HFPA, if BJA gets in, he would win just as like the new show here, but I don't know if he would win if he gets it now.
Yeah, I have Jeremy Allen White still winning this. I don't know. I feel like he's going to win these until he doesn't.
I don't think he would win, but he's definitely the most likely to be nominated.
Who would you have winning? I guess we'll find out.
I don't know. I mean, I have BJ in first. I don't think about like the winners, but
okay.
You know me.
I know. Okay.
You're always so like anxious to like pick a winner. I'm like, who cares?
I'm already moved on with this. Let's go to the winners.
You asked me who I had to win.
TV comedy musical actress. I have the top 6 and the odds, but just for that purposes, it's Jean Smart for the Hacks, Io Debris for The Bear, Quinta Brunson for Abbott, Selena Gomez for Only Murders, Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This, and Katherine Hahn for Agatha All Along.
I think, okay, I'm going to do Jean, Aya, Quinta, Selena, Kristen Bell, and Kristen Wiig.
Wow.
I have double Kristen.
No Katherine Hahn.
No.
I'm shocked.
Palm Royale also feels like a very HFPA show. We keep talking about like the old Globes.
I had a really great HFPA predictions if it was that. I was like, here, Kristen Wiig getting in, Palm Royale, like Bridget Everett maybe, but I don't know. None of these, nothing here. So I'm just going to the top 6 basically. Agatha All Along just felt like too big to me. Though I guess you could say like we just have Jason Segel in for Shrinking, an Apple show that is underwatched. But I was like, I don't know. I just think like Katherine Hahn would have the leg up because of how big Agatha was.
Ignore, especially because now that we know the Globe's membership is more like, critics heavy, and they're not usually fans of Marvel anyway, True,
but I also don't know if they would be fans of Palm Royale, which wasn't like the most critically acclaimed show.
No, but I think it's something that they've seen. I mean, like it's an Emmy nominated show, it's right. Like, and it's also older too.
Right.
So.
Limited series, Joyce. You mentioned this before. I mistakenly forgot to mention it at the top, but we're still doing it. Rude to TV. Here are my picks. I have Baby Reindeer, Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, True Detective Night Country, Ripley, Say Nothing, and Disclaimer.
I think I'm gonna keep this, what I have. Okay, Baby Reindeer, Ripley, True Detective, Monsters, The Penguin, and Disclaimer.
Wow.
That's the top six. That's the top
Yeah.
6.
Okay. I dropped The Penguin. And I went with Say Nothing. I felt like The Penguin would be the type of show to get acting nominations, but not series.
I kind of feel like it was like well received enough and watched enough that it could get in here. Whereas like Say Nothing might be the more acclaimed show, but it's also newer, like it's younger than The Penguin, you know, and quieter too. I also thought about just doing Feud as like an old show if they didn't watch anything new.
That's the issue. I was like, did they watch Say? I feel like I'm like, what if they did watch Say Nothing? I don't know. International critics, I'm like, they might have been all over this show if we're thinking they watched Day of the Jackal.
Ireland. So
I know that's still international. That's
what
here.
I'm saying. I'm like, it's like about Ireland.
Yeah. For limited series movie actor, I have Richard Gadd for Baby Reindeer, Andrew Scott for Ripley, Colin Farrell for The Penguin, Cooper Koch for Monsters, The Lyle and Eric Menendez Story, Nicholas Alexander Chavez for Monsters, The Lyle and Eric Menendez Story, and then my boy Josh Andres Rivera for American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez.
Wow. I don't know what to do with the Monsters boys.
I didn't know either, so I just put them both in. I was like, I'm not going to split them up.
Or I could just ignore both of them and do somebody else.
Very, very possible too. I don't know. I was just like, I think that's a popular show that was watched. So I was like, I think they'll both make it in. But if they didn't make it in, I think neither one of them would make it in. So you might be right.
Okay. I will do Richard, Andrew, Colin, Tom Hollander for Feud, Kevin Kline for Disclaimer, and Cooper. I picked Cooper. Sorry to Nick.
So that's the top 6 in the odds. I don't believe that Josh Andres Rivera is going to get in, but I kind of just wanted an excuse to talk about him because I think he's so great on the show. Great.
And like no one watched Ass, which is very rude.
Joyce, I talked to Stuart Zickerman this week. Lovely interview, lovely guy. And he was like, Josh Andres Rivera was like a unicorn. I cannot believe how lucky we were to find him. And I'm like, he's fantastic on the show. He's just so good. And I don't think this doesn't seem like, I think that actually would have been like an HFPA pick because he's like a young, like newcomer, even though it's a more of an American type show. Certainly, I don't know if international critics are going to give a flying fuck about the New England Patriots and Aaron Hernandez.
Have they heard of Tom Brady?
No, I don't think so.
They've heard of Giselle.
Yes. So I don't think he's going to get in, but I'm going to keep him in there. I'll go down with the show. I just think he's great, and people should nominate him for things because he's so good in the show.
I'd rather like focus on him like for the Emmys.
Okay. Okay. And then for limited series actress or movie, if you wanted, could be a TV movie too.
So that means you have Jessica Lange for The Great Lillian Hall.
I do not.
Wow.
I have Kristen Milioti for The Penguin, who I think is going to win this award when they get down to it. I have Cate Blanchett for Disclaimer, Jodie Foster for True Detective, Sofia Vergara for Griselda, Naomi Watts for Feud, and then Lola Pettigrew for my new favorite show, Say Nothing.
Wow. So you copied me.
I
didn't change anything. I have Jodie, Kristen, Naomi, Sophia, Kate, and Lola. I already have Lola in here.
I have Lola at 90-1, so maybe you got her 100-1.
Okay, so see, I got her before you did.
Okay, you did it. I guess I copied you then. Not much to say here, I think, but that feels like the sixth in the odds is Nicole Kidman for The Perfect Couple.
Didn't you have Nicole?
I did initially? When we did these like 3 months ago, I guess, or whatever. I love that show. Absolute hottest trash. Can't imagine Nicole Kidman getting nominated for this. But I enjoyed watching it so much. That feels like an HFPA nomination also.
Yeah. And then there's after Lola, there's Natalie Portman for Lady in the Lake. She just did a SAG Q&A.
When does that show come out, Joyce?
With Shogun season 2.
Got it.
And then Jessica Lange, who's also been campaigning.
Yeah, I got invited to something for next week, I think, or this week for the Great Lillian Hall. Can't attend.
And then Kate Winslet for The Regime. But she's been focusing on Lee in her campaign.
Yes, Jodie Foster just did an event for her, Joyce. We might mention Kate in a minute here.
And then Julianne Moore for Mary and George.
When does that show come out?
Again, with Shogun season 2.
Got it.
Uzo Aduba, remember the Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat? Remember when that was like an Oscars pick a year ago?
It was.
Yeah.
And then they put it on Hulu.
Yeah.
I think Kristen Milioti could win this and then win like many awards throughout the winter because she was such a breakout and people like her.
Remember when the HFPA gave the Globe to Jodie for The Mauritanian?
I do.
That was amazing.
And I think that's why Jodie's in first, maybe because of that.
Well, no, I think she's in first because she won the Emmy.
Also. For supporting actor, Joyce. Now, this is everything. TV,
yes,
movies, TV movies,
remember
limited series, drama series.
The 1 year they split it into comedy/drama and limited. And then they killed it because they had to add stand-up and box office, the fake box office award.
I do.
Yeah.
We will not be predicting the fake box office award, Joyce.
It's going to go to Wicked?
I guess. Inside Out too. So this makes it hard when it's just every genre, everything put together. I ended up with like kind of the consensus. I have Ebon Moss-Bachrach for The Bear, Tatenobu Asano for Shogun, Peter Sarsgaard for Presumed Innocent, Jack Lowden for Slow Horses, Jonathan Pryce for Slow Horses, and then Javier Bardem for Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story.
I don't. Maybe I'll just keep the 6 I have. I don't know if I might just keep this. I have Jack, Tadanobu, Eben, Peter, Jonathan, and PWD for Hacks.
Nice.
Which I don't like believe in, but I got him at 100 to 1. So I'm
wonderful.
Like, why don't I just keep him?
I don't know how. I guess I'm like. I don't know what, like, I hate when they put everything together. I'm like, do they not take comedy as seriously as drama? Even though I think Ebon Moss-Bachrach is going to get nominated and could win. But like The Bear is more of a drama anyway, and nobody thinks it's a comedy. So I don't know if they would consider like PWD for Hacks lesser than some of these other people. But if he got in, I'd be so happy.
They nominate them. It's just they have a harder time winning. I think Chris Colfer was the last one to win for a comedy. And that's like Glee is like, 1 hour music stuff. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, like last year they did triple Succession here, which I don't think many of us were expecting. No, because they don't usually go so hard. I mean, or the HFPA never went so hard on like one show, but I think that was also just, a testament to how like big Succession was, and also the fact that I don't think this group watches a lot of TV. Correct. And like last year they also nominated like James Marsden, for jury duty. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Because I'm like, I could do Harrison Ford here, who's in what, like 5th here? He's in there. I mean, he's very good. I feel like people just like pick him because he's Harrison Ford. I kind of feel like you do, like, so he could get in because of the name factor, obviously. He's also very good on the show, but obviously, like, we talk about this, the performance is not always the top of mind when people are nominating, but I just think the visibility of Shrinking is not as high as some of these other shows. That's why I was like, I don't know if he can make it in. Like, that's why I went with Javier Bardem, because I'm like, man, I know they watched Monsters. And RDJ's in 7th? Here? Again, nobody watched that show, as we know. Couldn't even get an Emmy makeup nomination. Couldn't even get an Emmy makeup nomination somehow last year. So if the Emmys voters aren't watching it, I can't imagine the Hollywood Foreign Press, or the formerly known as Hollywood Foreign Press, is watching it. I think like they could have watched it. I mean, the only like, or like it's an older show, right? So like it's like they could have watched it because it's been out since April. Right. But yeah, I guess since he didn't win the Emmy, it's like you might think like they're less incentivized, although I don't think you should vote like that anyway. Like I'm only voting for people because they won an Emmy, Mm-hmm. And then supporting actress, Joyce, and a TV show, any kind of show. I have Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer,
Hannah Einbinder for Hacks, Liza Colon-Zayas for The Bear, Carol Burnett for Palm Royale, Patti LuPone for Agatha All Along, and Justine Loop for Nobody Wants This. They watched it. I know they watched it, so.
I might keep the 6 that I have already. Okay. I have Hannah, Jess, Ruth, Liza, Nava Mao for Baby Reindeer, and Dakota Fanning for Ripley.
Nice. Another good choice. So basically what we're saying here is this is going to be completely unhinged because I don't know really
Meryl is in like what 5th in the odds, and I'm like I feel like this is because people did this before or like while Only Murders was airing this season, and they did not know that she was only in 3 episodes.
Correct. She's not in a lot of episodes, and with the episode she's in, she doesn't have much to do.
Well, so her main episode is the 7th episode with Melissa McCarthy. That's it.
I would be frankly stunned if she got nominated. So I think that's a red herring. I almost put Jessica Williams for Shrinking in, but I went with Justine Loop because I was like the visibility of it all. So I think they're really going to like Nobody Wants This.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's the Swans here. I can't believe it didn't do Chloe Sevigny for Monsters. You could have completed the Monsters.
I know.
Oh, Patty is still at 101. I thought she'd be not.
Well, now that I picked her, maybe she won't be, Joyce.
I mean, I got Dakota at 101. So
we'll see how we do on TV, Joyce. Now it's time for film. That's what the people are tuning in for, probably. A lot of them.
It should be TV. Always TV.
Well, we did TV first.
No, TV is better.
So here are the film nominees, Joyce. We're going to do it again through drama and musical comedy. Are you excited?
No.
Here's what I have for drama. Conclave, The Brutalist, Sing Sing, recent, it's back, Joyce, Sing Sing.
It never went away.
We knew it never went away, but a lot of pundits were diving off it like it was the triple Lindy in Back to School with Rodney doing the 3 diving boards. They couldn't wait to jump off the Sing Sing ship, and now they're all back on it.
I don't even think it was like pundits. I think it was just like fans, like film Twitter and like Oscar followers. Like
it definitely was a few pundits just knocked it right out of their face.
No, but it's definitely more like people following like the race who are down. I mean, remember how many questions we've gotten about like, you know, like why are you so confident in Sing Sing? I'm like,
every week,
because like people who watch it love it, and like there's still like A24 is still working it.
Coming back to theaters the day of the Oscar nominations. Anyway, Conclave, Brutalist, Sing Sing, Dune Part 2, and then I have September 5 and Seed of the Sacred Fig.
Okay. I don't know if I want to change anything here. This is so I have The Brutalist, Conclave, Sing Sing, Dune, The Room Next Door, and I think, what if I did I'm Still Here?
I think we're on the same. Honestly, I feel like the bottom 2 for us are very similar in that, like, I went September 5, Seed of Sacred Fig. If you do Room Next Door and I'm Still Here, I think I just feel like they're going to be more highbrow and more international maybe than people think. So that's why I was like, I'm not doing Gladiator, Blitz, or Nickel Boys, or Complete Unknown.
I'll do I'm Still Here.
Okay. Like, I almost wanted to put All We Imagine Is Light here, too. I think September 5 will have its little rebound, though, even though it's not rebounding from anything, but people just pretend it doesn't exist or don't like it.
Well, it's also not out yet.
I know. And See the Sacred Fig, I still think... See the Sacred Fig's type of movie, Joyce, where anybody who I know who's seen it is like, it's incredible. But I don't know a lot of people who have watched it yet.
No, it's definitely like a critics movie.
And so that's why I put it in here. This season, I mean, we're not talking about the Gotham Awards and everything else, but one of the things I know when I went on at the Gotham Awards on Monday, Joyce, one thing I noticed was a lot of movies where people are like, and a lot of people involved with the movies, the big thing this year is like, we just got to get the people to see the movies.
Well, that's always the goal. I don't think it's this season. I think that is the point of award season in general. It's like you want, if you want to be nominated, the first thing is you need people to want to see your movie.
I guess what I would say is the thing that makes it feel different this year is because I think there's a lot of movies. Like there's usually like one or two movies I feel like where there's a lot of like mainstream stuff where people have seen everything. And this year, a lot of these movies, I hear people being like, oh, I still, even Sing Sing at the Gothams, it's like, I still have to watch Sing Sing. Like that was like, you know, like people have not seen these movies, but when they do, they're incredibly passionate about them. So I think it's hard to know like what is getting actively seen.
I mean, I think that's true just in general with people in the industry, just having talked to people over the years, is like we and even fans watch more probably at this point than the actual industry and the voter bodies do, because they're busy and they have lives. So, and they need to catch up, which they do over the holidays. You know, but like you do need people to want to see your movie and then hope they like your movie and like your performance. And that's
Correct.
The way you get the vote, not through like blind voting. And so like you do need like good word of mouth, you know, like if someone's like recommending it to you, like recommending Sing Sing to you, then you're like, I put it on my list. I'm going to watch it with the fam over Christmas, you know?
Neither one of us have Gladiator 2 or Blitz.
No.
Maybe if it was the HFPA, I would have Gladiator 2. Not anymore, though. Best Actress, Joyce, for a drama. Here's what I have. Marianne Jean-Baptiste, New York Film Critics Circle Award winner for Best Actress. I have her getting nominated and in first right now. Angelina Jolie for Maria. Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl. Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. And Kate Winslet for Lee.
Wow. Okay. Gonna do Nicole, Marianne, Fernanda, Angie, Pamela Anderson for The Last Showgirl, and Lily Rose Depp for Nosferatu.
So I had thought of both of them, but I was like, I just felt like they were too HFPA-ish. I don't know. I was like,
I don't think they are though. I think yes, but also no, because I like Nosferatu was a total cinephile movie and like critics love it.
I think they do, and she'd be a great nominee. I would put her in over Pamela Anderson, who I feel like is just would be an HFPA pick and might have had an easier time competing in comedy musical anyway. Even though it's not really comedy, but I mean, they could have flouted it. Comedy. It's not, but neither is the substance, so whatever.
I mean, the substance is a satire. So.
This is kind of like, I don't know. I was like, I just don't think I could see her getting in, but I was like, I just felt like if it was HFPA, I would have definitely had her in because of the celebrity of it all. So you don't have Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun.
I dropped her and Tilda just now.
Interesting. I don't think Room Next Door. Tilda's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the odds. I just have a hard time believing that she'll get nominated. I still think the issue with that movie is that they're both really good, and you cannot really pick one over the other, though people have, obviously.
I feel like that's, I mean, I obviously have it in picture, but I feel like that could get in without acting. Like, it could get, like, Pedro something, you know?
I feel like Saoirse's going to get in here. I think the people, again, another movie where everyone's like, she's great, the movie's good, or they really are passionate about the movie if they've seen the movie. I was talking to somebody at the Gotham Awards, Joyce, who is like, oh, I just like raving about her, not as sold on the movie. And I was like,
I mean, that's kind of tracks. Always been the thing with the movie. Kind
of tracks. So I was like, I think she'll get in. Yeah, Lily Rose Depp would be an awesome nominee, though. I would love for her to again. She's definitely, her and Bill Skarsgård are amazing in Nosferatu.
I also feel like it just from recency bias, because that's probably one of the last movies they've seen, like that and A Complete Unknown, probably, you know? And then, like, the review embargo lifted this week. Wow, and they're in the middle of voting, too, so they were, like, writing the reviews on a high from Nosferatu.
Yeah. I mean,
so.
she's really great. I hope she gets in. Should be a great nominee.
I also just didn't want to have the top 6 here because I feel like probably one or both of like Saoirse or Tilda would miss.
Yeah, that's why I put Kate Winslet in, because I didn't want the top 6.
I mean, Kate is also very HFPA just from the campaign.
But also it is an internet. I feel like the movie is playing better to international, maybe critics.
I don't know if it's playing that well with anyone. I mean, she's solely resurrecting it herself.
For drama actor choice, here's what I have. Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, New York Film Critics Circle Award winner for Best Actor. Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown. Ray Fiennes for Conclave. Coleman Domingo, Gotham Award winner for Best Actor for Sing Sing. Daniel Craig for Queer. And Cillian Murphy for Small Things Like These.
Oh my God, I can't believe you copied me. Why would you do this? Oh my God,
I didn't copy you if I didn't know you were doing it.
Oh God.
I just was thinking last year they did a lot of, last year like Alma Poisty was like the one where people were like, how did this happen? And I'm like, that's in my head. And I'm like, I'm just going to go as like offbeat / international / Cillian Murphy as a Halo Afterglow nomination. All of these things together.
I just did him because, I had sub here for The Apprentice before, and I can see him still getting in, but I was like Cillian is the reigning champion here, and also that's a really good movie, and he's also really good in it. I could see him being like them backing that movie more than The Apprentice, even though The Apprentice was better received internationally than domestically.
Yes, and that was why I was almost going to put him in, because I was like, I think internationally he would have a leg up. But I agree with what you said about Cillian Murphy. I also think Seb will get in later here, obviously, for A Different Man. And we didn't talk about this since since A Different Man won at the Gothams. One of the things
we'll talk about this when we get to people.
We'll talk about this when we get there. I have a take on that anyway. Okay, so now we're in film comedy musical, Joyce. Here's what I got: Wicked, Anora, Amelia Perez, The Substance, Challengers, and A Real Pain. That's the top 6 in the odds. I just have it in a slightly different order.
Okay, I have nothing to add here.
What would you drop if you had to pick one that wasn't one of these 6?
For what, though?
Well, that's the other question. A Different Man, maybe?
Saturday Night is right behind Challengers here in the odds.
Again, if this was the HFPA, if this was still on NBC, I think Saturday Night would have a great leg up. But it's not, and so I don't think it does. I think A Different Man would maybe be one to get in.
I would love for A Different Man to get in. I actually had that in there before Wicked exploded. So.
And Deadpool and Wolverine, I think, would have been an HFPA nominee, but it'll probably be the Box Office Cinematic Achievement Award or whatever nominee. So with nothing else to say there, I think Wicked could end up winning this, but we'll see.
I think Wicked would win under HFPA.
I think it definitely would win under HFPA, and I actually think it could also win under this group too.
But they could also take care of it in Box Office.
True. For comedy musical actress choice, I have Mikey Madison for Anora, who I got to speak with briefly at the Gotham Awards. I was very excited. Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Demi Moore for The Substance, Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez, Zendaya for Challengers, and June Squibb for Thelma.
Why are you copying me again?
I can't do Amy Adams. No disrespect to Amy Adams.
Is that because you don't like the movie, or because you think it's coming too late and it's been muzzled, basically? No pun intended.
Little from column A, little from column B. I respect the movie. I talked to Marielle Heller, Joyce, who was lovely, and I thought she had some really good things to say about the movie. But I just think June, I feel like HFPA, no HFPA, the novelty of June Squibb would be too much, and people do really like that movie. So, and it's an earlier movie, obviously, so I think they've seen it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I could see Amy getting it. It's funny because if Amy felt like such a, not a slam dunk nominee, but it felt like she was solid for a nomination early on. But this category is actually pretty crowded. And then Demi came in here with The Substance, Challengers came in.
when they
too.
added challengers and substance to this category, I feel like that pushed Amy out because I think both Demi and Zendaya are like kind of in. So obviously Demi and I think Zendaya too. Excuse me, I dropped my mouse. For actor and a musical comedy, I have Jesse Eisenberg for Real Pain, Glenn Powell for Hitman, Sebastian Stan for A Different Man, Gabriel Abel for Saturday Night, Hugh Grant for Heretic, and then I was just struggling so much to find literally anyone else here that wasn't Michael Keaton for Beetlejuice, but then I just went with Michael Keaton for Beetlejuice.
Again, you're copying me.
I feel like it's too mainstream, but also like I kind of think Michael Keaton travels internationally, even though the movie didn't do as well international.
The GOAT, so.
I mean, he's great in the movie. The movie's not very good. Gabriel Abel, I was also kind of teetering on because I don't think Saturday Night obviously is really popped, but really a limited category here. Jesse Plemons for Kinds of Kindness.
I mean, I thought about putting Jesse in, but I think I'm just going to keep the 6 that I
Do you think
have.
Joaquin Phoenix can make a comeback here for the Joker?
That'd be hilarious.
Feels like could.
I mean,
don't think it will.
I don't, like, I'm not going to predict it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. Because
certain critics did like that movie.
And, like, he fits the parameters of the performance, and I still haven't seen it, but I don't think the issues with the film are mainly with him. So
no, he's very good. I've seen the movie. I don't hate it. It's just not my fave.
It's just like because the movie was such a bomb, I think people think no one wants to touch it.
Yeah. So Sebastian Stan, Joyce, I put a flag in this from before. At the Gotham Awards, again, I try to like read the room. It was not the most exciting room, I thought, this year compared to last year. It was like people were throwing themselves at Lily Gladstone, throwing themselves at Charles Melton. This year, a little more muted. Sing Sing getting routine standing ovations, though. And the other person I flagged that people were really excited by, including Aubrey Plaza, who opened the show, was Sebastian Stan.
I mean, she told him to sit the fuck down.
So she was in on it. He did a presentation, right? He presented an award. He was up there when A Different Man won. And I was like, I do think he could end up being the 5th. I think he could get an Oscar nomination for best actor, that number 5 spot. I think could be him for A Different Man. As like a, hey, we do like you. We're not going to touch The Apprentice because it's toxic, even though you're great in that movie. And maybe he gets in for A Different Man. That's my big takeaway from the Gotham Award. So I put him in for actor at the Oscars. So I took out Jesse, which I know you were loving because you didn't want me to copy you. So now I have Sebastian for A Different Man.
I mean, I think his issue with that movie is that it's like invisible, basically. And like the most visibility it's had since it's been out is its Gotham win on Monday, voted on by 5 people, including Julia Stiles, which I love. I also love the photo of him backstage of the team talking to Oscar Isaac. I was like, Oscar, who was also on that jury, I was like, Oscar's probably telling them, like, I voted for you guys.
The thing I would say, like, I was like, no one's seen the movie, and they might, I guess, right? And A24 has 30 other projects, and kind of it's been forgotten. You could stream, I think you could do it now on demand, right? I'm sure.
Yes, it's on VOD.
It. But I would say this, it reminds me a little of, like, one of the reasons why I predicted like Brian Tyree Henry a few years ago for Causeway is just because he was literally everywhere. Everyone worked with him. They all liked him. And like nobody saw that movie. It doesn't even exist. And he still got nominated in a category where there wasn't as much competition. And I feel like the same thing could happen with Seb. Enough people maybe will put him in for it. People do really like him. And it's like kind of like, hey, you have 2 great movies or 2 great performances this year. We'll get you in for 1. That kind of thing.
Yeah, but you need the support to coalesce around 1. And I think people want it because, you know, no one wants to acknowledge The Apprentice anymore. Like, you want it to be A Different Man, but I think it needs more spark behind it. Like,
but I think I could get it.
It's like that's the main issue. And like even with Brian Tyree Henry, they campaigned, like Apple campaigned the shit out of him for that. And like J Law was like, who's in the movie, produced the movie, she was doing like Q&As specifically for him. Like they knew like he was the play, you know, and like you said, like we know A24 has like 40 million other movies here, and this is like low priority for them. So
I think I could see him getting it. And I put it in for makeup too at the Oscars.
I already had it in for makeup, which is like
Yeah.
more of like a Hope diction because it's so underseen. But I feel like the branch could just get it in, and it probably won't win. I mean, listen, I love Seb. I would love for him to get in, but I'm not like planting my flag just after a Gotham win for the movie.
It's not because of the win, and he didn't even win. But I'm like, and like you said, like it's a 5-member jury. But I was just like, the vibe in the room is that he's one of the actors that we want to celebrate this year, and I just think that is the opportunity to celebrate him in Best Actor with this movie and not The Apprentice, which barely. I didn't hear one person mention The Apprentice at the Gotham Awards. It literally does not exist, basically. Even though it got nominated here, I think at the Spirit Awards today. We're recording on Wednesday, Joyce. So I think it showed up there at least once. For supporting actress, Joyce, it's all genres: drama, comedy, musical. 6 slots. Here's what I have: Ariana Grande for Wicked, Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, Margaret Qualley for The Substance, and Leonie Benesech for September 5. Yes.
Why did you add an extra syllable?
I don't know.
What?
I have her for September 5.
I don't know. I might just keep this 2 here. I don't know. Okay. Okay. All right. I have Zoe, Ariana, Felicity, Isabella, Margaret, and Danielle Deadweiler.
Okay. Danielle's 3rd in the odds. I'm still pretty confident she'll get an Oscar nomination, but I just felt with this group of international voters, critics, Piano Lesson not top of mind and not a fave, so I didn't think it would make it in. And I have September 5 for Best Picture, so I was like, maybe she'll get in.
So she didn't get in for Till, so I don't think they would be like making up for her snub here with that. But I think Netflix can get it in front of them to be seen. And like she's doing your favorite thing, campaigning as well. So I just kept her in here.
Yeah, I think, like I said, that's why I'm like, all that stuff is true. And I think for Oscars and SAG, and she'll be in all these places, but I think it's hear her missing. That was basically it. I don't know. If she got in, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know.
But she's definitely doing a much better job campaigning this year.
Anybody can make this category after the top 3 to me, who are Zoe, Ariana, and Felicity.
Correct. For drama, for supporting actor in drama, film, anything. I have Kieran Culkin for Real Pain, New York Film Critics Circle Award winner. Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2. Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. Clarence Macklin, winner at the Gotham Awards and a nominee at the Spirit Awards, Joyce, for Sing Sing. Yor Borisov for Honora, and Adam Pearson for A Different Man.
You're just going ham on A Different Man now.
I am.
I think I'm going to keep this. So I have Kieran, Guy, Denzel, Clarence, Yura, and your fave, Josh O'Connor.
So I had Josh O'Connor, and I dropped for Adam Pearson. Let me ask you this much. This is the other thing I took away from the Gothams and just talking to people. Challengers is still one of people's favorite movies of the year. I don't think Josh O'Connor is going to get in at the Oscars, obviously, and I would love to see him get nominated here at the Golden Globes. He's fantastic. But like when we're filling out the bottom of that Best Picture field, why not Challengers? I don't know. I was like, I might put it in 10th.
Then do it.
Because I just was like, there's no, like, if when you're picking between like Gladiator 2 and like The Complete Unknown or any of these other movies, September 5, whatever, I'm like, none of them have the juice that Challengers does. So I was like, I actually think I can get in. People just really like that movie. That was my takeaway.
Do it. Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm putting it in.
I mean, when I did an editing panel a couple of weeks ago with several people, including Marco Costa, who edited Challengers. And we were all talking beforehand while we were waiting for one more person. And the other people on it then were from Wicked, Nickel Boys, Blitz. Right? That's it? Yeah, I think so. And I asked them, oh, have you seen each other's movies yet? And they all said no, except for Challengers. Like, now Challengers has the benefit of being out earlier because it came out in April, obviously. And, at that point, like, Wicked hadn't even come out yet. But, and it just started screening, So, but they all loved Challengers. And Myron Kirstein said his 18-year-old son loves Challengers too. And that's when like, you've hit the jackpot.
I put it in because I was also like, if it was a sliding scale, no, it's not getting in, despite the fact that it's like one of my two favorite movies of the whole year. But I was like, I do think when you're filling out a ballot, if you're going to put all 10, you're going to get the Challengers, because I just think that'll be most people's favorite movie or one of their favorites, if they don't put it elsewhere.
It needs like people to be really apathetic towards everything else.
I kind of think they will be. I don't know. That like was my take.
The support for everything else in the lower tier needs to be really diffuse.
And I'm thinking maybe it is. For director choice, here's what I got. Edward Berger for Conclave, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, Jacques Audiard for Amelia Perez, Sean Baker for Honora, John M. Chu for Wicked, and Coralie Farge for The Substance.
I have the top 6 right now. I don't know if I want to keep it.
So you have Denis instead of John.
You know what? I'm going to drop Denis for Pedro.
Nice.
He's at 101.
At the Oscars, I don't think John Chu is going to make it in, but I think he could get in here, even though it's not the HFPA. Coralie feels like, if not a lock, like pretty set in terms of this group. And I was also considering Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys, but I think he actually maybe has a better shot at the Oscars than he does here.
I don't know, like, I don't think I have Nickel Boys in here anywhere, because I had it in picture and then I dropped it. So I'm like, do I want to put it in here somewhere?
Maybe projecting, but I'm like, I don't think I don't know if it plays. I just don't know how it'll play to international critics. And I think it's the arty pick, definitely the arty pick among US critics, and the critical fave in a lot of ways. I still think he can get in for picture, which I have it in for. And I think Ramel Ross can get in for director at the Oscars, but I don't know if it'll show up here at the Globes. I don't think it needs to either, frankly.
No.
For screenplay, Joyce, speaking of Nickel Boys, not here for me, but I do have Honora, Conclave, Sing Sing, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, and The Substance.
I have the same.
So we both do not have Amelia Perez. Even the most ardent fans of Amelia Perez, of which many people are in the industry, still very hot on this movie. I talked to somebody at the Gotham Awards.
The industry loves this movie. It's just the internet that hates it.
At the Gotham Awards, the person I was talking to was like, loved Amelia Perez. What a bold choice. And I was like, yeah. But nobody's talking about the script, I don't think. I guess it could get in here. It's obviously in the top 5 in the odds. But I think it would not get in for script while it gets in for picture and Jacques Audiard at the Golden Globes.
It's also a musical script, so I mean, we know like they don't like that at the Oscars, but I think if the Globes had split a screenplay categories, like it will probably get in. But since they only have the one category,
for animated feature choice, we just have a few left before we have to wrap up. Didn't put a lot of thought into this, but I have Wild Robot, One Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, Flow, New York Film Critics Circle Animated Award winner, Memoir of a Snail, and Piece by Piece.
Wow. I just have the top 6, which includes Moana 2.
Joyce, I've since seen Moana 2.
Did you enjoy it?
No.
Did your daughter like it?
Fine. I will say this. People on Letterboxd, a lot of Letterboxd parents are like over the top negative on the movie. It is no worse than like any kind of shitty TV movie you watch on Disney. It's like Lion King 1.5.
It was a TV show. They just made it into a movie.
It's like Lion King 1.5. I've seen so much worse stuff. So I was like, for me, I was like, it's not very good. It's certainly not as good as Moana, the first one, but it's fine. And like the songs are unmemorable, but the one main song is very good. Beyond, I thought, is like a really great song. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Wish last year, where the songs were actually better than people gave it credit for. The movie didn't totally work, and parents were like over the top about how negative it was, but I was like, the kids think it's fine. So anyway, long story short, I don't know how Moana getting in here. I don't think Piece by Piece is a great movie either, but I think it can get in. Score. So let me ask you this. Do you think the Golden Globes Association, or whatever they're called now, cares at all that Dune Part 2 is probably not eligible for an Oscar nomination?
No, they don't care at all.
Okay.
Just like how I don't think anyone cares that India did not submit All We Can See As Light.
All We Imagine Is Light.
Oh, yeah, All We Imagine Is Light. I always, because it's the light.
Yes.
It's the light titles. Who were we talking to about this the other day?
Deborah Birnbaum.
Oh, yeah.
Our boss.
It's like, it's the light titles.
Because it was All the Light We Cannot See from Netflix.
Yes.
David L's favorite show.
Yes.
Score, Joyce. Conclave, The Brutalist, One Wild Robot, Dune Part 2, Challengers, and Saturday Night. That's what I have.
I have Brutalist, Conclave, Dune, One Wild Robot, Challengers, and The Room Next Door.
I was going to put Room Next Door, but I felt obviously I have that at the Oscars, which we've talked about, but I was like, I think maybe Saturday Night shows up here. John Baptiste. People like him.
I could see Emilia Perez showing up here too.
Well, it's fifth in the odds.
Yes.
So.
I just don't have it.
No. And then last category here, the Globes, Joyce. Best song. This, I think, is going to be a test of whether we're right to say that El Mal is not a top contender.
I mean, they'll probably just nominate both of them. So.
Okay, so I don't have it in, though, so maybe I should put it in. I'm just going to put it in to be like normal. And I'm going to drop...
Be like normal.
And I'm going to drop... All right, here's what I have.
To be a sheep.
To be a sheep, I'm going to drop... put El Mal in. But I don't think it's getting at the Oscars, and I did not have it in. I have One Wild Robot's Kiss the Sky. I have Emilia Perez, Mi Camino. Mufasa, The Lion King, I Always Wanted a Brother, which I was so down on this movie choice existing, and I just couldn't care about it. But then I read that there's like 7 or 8 original Lin-Manuel Miranda songs in the movie, and I was immediately like, this is going to be great. I cannot wait.
Did you watch his interview on a Tonight Show this week?
No, not yet.
Watch it.
Okay. Anyway, I Always Wanted a Brother, Lion King. I have Will and Harper from Harper and Will Go West from Will and Harper. I have Like a Bird from Sing Sing. And now I have El Mal from Emilia Perez, but I had Piece by Piece from the Piece by Piece movie, I did not put Beyond in.
And you dropped it piece by piece.
I did. I did not put Beyond in, even though I think it's a great song. Maybe I should put Beyond in too. I don't know. Damn it. All right, whatever.
What are you replacing it with then?
No, nothing. I'm going to keep this. I got this 6.
Okay. Do I want to change anything here? Okay. I have Kiss the Sky, Mi Camino, I Always Wanted a Brother, El Mal, Harper and Will Go West, and Forbidden Road from Better Man.
Wow. That's an HFPA pick.
But it's like Robbie Williams,
Yeah, no, I know.
International.
The dark horses for me here, which I didn't pick, but I would just want to mention, Beautiful That Way from The Last Showgirl. If you're thinking that like that movie could show up here in a couple of places, I think the song is great. Miley Cyrus, Andrew Wyatt did the music. That's actually my favorite part of that movie is the score and the song. It's really good. Twisters, we've talked about. Luke Combs, Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, absolute banger. If it was the HFPA, I think the Elton John song from Elton John, Never Too Late, would be in play here. And Challengers, I guess, Compress Regress, if they're really high on Challengers.
Challengers is more of a score thing than a song thing.
Yeah. And that's it, Joyce. Those are the Golden Globe predictions.
What are you going to change before Monday?
I don't actually care that much. I'm going to leave it all. I'm just going to see how I do. Go down for the count with this and see how I did. This was it. So that was our first episode of Awards Magnet, Joyce. How do you feel?
The same.
Email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, with our mailbag episode. We have a lot of emails, Joyce. I'm sure we'll hopefully have even more emails now.
Well, there's a whole other day, too.
Can't wait. And so we'll talk about all kinds of stuff then, and then we'll be back next week as well. All right, I'll talk to you then, Joyce. Bye. Thanks for listening to Awards Magnet. The show is produced by Aaron Greenwald. Our logo is designed by Chelsea Sikora. To be part of the show, email us at slugfests@goldderby.com and follow us on social media @goldderby.